Hey everyone, welcome to another show. Again, it's the Bulk Crew podcast talking Charger football as we're 2 days away from the first preseason game. 3 preseason games again, the way it's going to go. Chargers open up with Seattle, then they have the Rams, and they have the Cowboys, and then we're going for real against the Raiders. But again, very excited that Charger football feels like it's finally here. Just so everybody is aware, the three of us, we're big basketball fans as well. We're all watching Team USA right now. We're all stressing out at the half. So if you see some reactions that don't seem to make sense to exactly what's going on in our squares, I'll be honest with you. We're doing two things at once. We're all in on USA basketball on the show as well. So I want to ask you again, you guys know the drill. Please subscribe to the show. Please give the thumbs up. We want all that stuff. But guys, I'm going to start the show off right away with the tease that I left off with the other day. Okay. If you recall, the tease from 2 days ago was the Charger quarterback situation. Josh told you at the end of the show that Luis Perez has been signed, quarterback who is a kid we actually happen to know. Believe it or not, it's kind of weird that we know Tony Jefferson. We've known Tony since he was I think 8 years old, Josh. But Luis Perez is a guy you've known since high school, lives down the street, been in the house, the whole deal. The fact he's wearing a Charger uniform is kind of cool for us that we're sitting there rooting for a guy to make the roster. Now, that being said, as much as I like Luis Perez, I still think there's a quarterback out there, guys, that I think is a better option than anyone else they have on the roster, not named Justin Herbert. And for me, I'm going to go out there and people are going to yell at me in this chat right now. I know it. But for me, I would go for Ryan Tannehill. Now, Ryan Tannehill's doing nothing. Said he's staying in shape. Same time, Ryan Tannehill has the same kind of build that Justin Herbert has. Now, if this is a playoff team, you're going to want a veteran quarterback out there. Your initial reaction is going to be Ryan Tannehill stinks. That's what you guys are thinking right now. You don't know what you're talking about. I understand why he's not with the team. I'm going to throw just one thing at you. 11 years in the league means he's a vet. He's seen a lot. 216 TD passes, 115 interceptions. If this team is a playoff team, I want a veteran to back up Justin Herbert and not one of the other guys that I don't feel has the experience to lead your team to a postseason run.
I'm with you. I'm all about having veterans as backups. Good old Billy Volek, Kerry Collins. I like those older guys to back up your quarterback because you feel more secure that the guy that's going to come in, he might not make as many plays, but he's going to make less mistakes unless his name's Chase Daniel and he has no idea what the hell's going on. I'm all for Ryan Tannehill coming in just because of what Dave said about him having the veteran presence, but also because his play style is similar to Justin Herbert's, right? He's an athletic guy. He used to play wide receiver in college at Texas A&M. He could throw on the run just like Justin Herbert. Smart guy. People say great things about him every team he's been with. So I'm all about Ryan Tannehill coming in if he's available. I do have love for Luis Perez. The guy grew up right down the street from me. We used to compete in middle school basketball. We were on the same college football team at one point. We're both quarterbacks on the same team. I think he was the 8th string quarterback. Luis Perez was. He was a bowler in high school. Never played quarterback in high school. At Otay Ranch, he was a bowler. Went to try to play quarterback at Southwestern College down the street, and becomes the D2 Player of the Year. Now he's with the Chargers. It's a crazy story. I actually have a Luis Perez story that I'm going to tell after this Ryan Tannehill situation. But Mario, I'm all about having the veteran presence, right? Do you like Easton Stick as the backup? They say he's struggling.
So I'm not a fan of it. And I think also, if you look at last year, what did we learn last year? It's pretty important to have some type of backup that's pretty suitable. Because if you do, you're not out of contention to at least be competitive, at least make it into the playoffs. The thing that I really like about Tannehill is his biggest strength is just game managing. That's all he did with the Titans, right? Was hand the ball off and just game manage. And as long as you have a really good head coach, like Mike Vrabel that he had, and then we have Jim Harbaugh, he's suitable enough and he'll take care of the football and he'll win you games that, maybe you shouldn't win. We saw a lot of times with the Titans. We expect that to happen a couple times this year with the Chargers. I think he'd be a great backup. He has a lot of experience, deep playoff experience. And even if he's, doesn't even play and Herbert plays the full season and doesn't get hurt, doesn't have a flare with the foot injury he has now, that's a guy in the locker room that Herbert can learn a lot from. Tannehill's seen a lot of different defenses, has seen a lot of different things. He's had a lot of successes. He's had a lot of failures. There's a lot of stuff you can learn and take away from him that I think is going to be pretty valuable for Herbert and this team. And we've spoken a lot about it, guys. This team in the locker room, they need leadership voices, and that'd be a great leadership voice to have. I'm all for it, bringing him in. I'm very against trusting backup young QBs like a Duggan, like an Easton Stick, just because there's a more of a shock factor, Dave. And when there's more of a shock factor, that's a bigger advantage for the defenses, and they can really take advantage of that.
No, absolutely right. Again, it's funny how the body types are very similar. The game, as far as the way those guys being athletes, meaning Herbert and Tannehill, they kind of match up. I think it would benefit even Herbert's career having him there. Tannehill's not coming here thinking I'm going to be the starter. He understands whose team it is. It's a perfect fit when you have a veteran that goes, I want to do what I can to help the young guy figure out the game and win. The deal is, again, I'll go back to the point. If this team is a playoff team, which a lot of people are predicting, this Charger team is a better team than they're getting credit for. Even on this show, there are people out there who aren't Charger fans supporting the team that are saying, watch out for the Chargers. It's a pretty good bet. If you're one of those guys that wants to go to Vegas or online and go, I'm going to take a shot. I like what the Chargers are doing right now, and I like everything I'm hearing out of camp. It would stink if it came down to the last 4 games of the year and something happened to Herbert and you're stuck to go with a quarterback that's not experienced. There's one out there right now. The funny thing is when you look at Tannehill's numbers, as I threw those, touchdowns at you at 216 to 115, those numbers overall average-wise, like they're better than Terry Bradshaw. They're better than Joe Namath. They're better than Hall of Fame quarterbacks because you look back in the day and it's amazing how many guys either have more interceptions and touchdowns that are in the Hall of Fame or they're about 500. And he's about 100 more than the other one. And I always, Sandy, you've heard me say this on the show before. I think that stat's kind of ridiculous because you can throw an interception anywhere on the field, but a touchdown really you hardly ever throw unless you're in the red zone. You know what I mean? It's kind of the odds aren't the same, but they always use that stat, touchdowns, interceptions. But overall, I'm saying he's there, and I see people writing on the side there about Billy Volek, and that cracks me up too. Again, a former Titan that became a Charger backup. Backup quarterback is always real popular, but at the same time, I think it's kind of like we say, you're creating a different atmosphere of what's acceptable, and you're only as strong as your weakest link, as you'll hear head coaches say all the time. And to me, that's a very important position.
Do you think Easton Stick is a Brandon Staley type of guy? Like, I don't think that's fair to Easton Stick to say, but it does kind of feel a little bit like he is a Brandon Staley guy because to me, he's attached to Brandon Staley as a guy that he had trust in. I don't have anything against Easton Stick. I've read the reports that we all have read that he's struggling in camp. Bring in the veteran, bring in Luis Perez, who is what they call him, the spring football king. I mean, he takes over every spring football league. I'm all for it. Competition at every position, including the defensive line, quarterbacks, no matter what it is, you want players to compete for that position. You don't want Easton Stick to have a layup and just be the backup quarterback no matter what. I love the idea of bringing in competition. I looked at the other quarterbacks that are available in free agency, and like I said, I agree with Dave. Ryan Tannehill would be my pick as well. Here's some other names in case you guys have any interest. Trevor Siemian, Blaine Gabbert, AJ McCarron, Brian Hoyer, Kellen Mond, Ben DiNucci, and Nathan Peterman. I think it's a slam dunk that Ryan Tannehill would be your choice tomorrow.
Yeah, slam dunk. Nathan Peterman, I still think about the 5 picks with the Bills in the first half. That was remarkable. I mean, talk about marksmanship of dumb and terrible. Tannehill's the best option for it. I think it would be great for, we mentioned it. It would be great for the Chargers in so many different ways. And I really do believe that last year was just such a scream out to every team that it really pays just to have a smart game manager. Like that just ultimately it just really pays to have that. And think about this Charger offense too. This whole offseason, it's been pound the football, pound the football, pound the football. You're not coming into an offense where it's, Sean McVay and you're going to throw the ball 35 times, right? Like you're not coming into that. You're going to be in there going, hey, you're probably going to throw the ball 20 times and going to hand it off twice as much, right? Like you're not going to win the game for us. And Easton Stick, the leg factor is great with him. He can use his legs. But Dave, at the same time, I'm already on my backup QB. I want my backup QB getting hurt. And then I really got to play someone else that hasn't seen any tick at all.
So here you go. In case people are wondering, Chargers in camp, they have Justin Herbert, Easton Stick, Max Duggan, Luis Perez, Casey Bauman, who's a rookie. Obviously, they aren't going to keep all those quarterbacks. So either you can make a change if you sign somebody else. At the same time, you're going to see those guys battle it out. Jim Harbaugh's old football school coach, where it's basically competition is king, and let's see what these guys can do at the most important position. Justin Herbert, we all know when he's healthy, it is his job. It's not a situation where there's any chance he's going to end up losing that position. Josh, go back, tell your Luis Perez story.
All right, the Luis Perez story is funny. Like I said, the guy was went to Otay Ranch High School. I went to East Lake High School. For anybody that's in San Diego, that's South San Diego. So Luis Perez, high school bowler, bowled a few 300 games. He was actually popular on the competitive bowling circuit as a kid, which is so funny. And he was a good basketball player, but he never played football. He actually got in a really bad accident. I think he hurt his back in high school. He was a tight end. So he tried out for quarterback in college, tore it up. He was the 8th string. It's like the Joe Montana story. Like the 7 guys in front of him got hurt and he stepped in and he took over and he played great. He went D2 and he had an offensive coordinator that he didn't love. And he messaged me and he said, "Josh, do you happen to have your Alabama playbook? Is that something I could use? We're kind of struggling over here to get guys open." And I said, "Yeah, you can use it. Just, give it back. It's something that I want to keep." So I gave him the Lane Kiffin Alabama playbook. And I'm not taking credit for any of his success because he works very hard. He's a great guy, but he did win the D2 Heisman. Like his team went absolutely off 2 years in a row. He used a lot of the plays he said in that playbook that helped him. Obviously, we know Lane Kiffin's an offensive genius, so I'm not surprised. But he ends up winning D2 Heisman. Guy's great. He was with the Rams for a little bit. He's literally played in every single league besides the CFL, I believe. The UFL, the XFL, whatever leagues there are, he's played in all of them. So he deserves his shot. He's a great dude, and he's somebody that you want on your team. To look at the comments on the side here, somebody said Cam Newton. No, I've heard things, and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus because they wouldn't want me to do that. That Cam Newton is not a guy that you would want on your team as a backup. He is not easy to be around if he's not the starter. And Ryan Tannehill, from what I've heard, is not like that at all. So if you have a backup, you want a guy that's going to be cool to Justin Herbert, a guy that's going to help him be the best he can be, and not somebody that's going to cause problems in the locker room, Mario.
First off, we need to get Perez on the show. And then the first question is we're going to have him. We should quiz him on the playbook.
I talked to Luis this morning. He said he wants to come on.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sneak peek, ladies and gentlemen.
I also got the same thing from Bradley Bozeman and yet to come on. So I'm not very good.
They're 2 friends of the show. So it's what it is.
Mario, real quick.
Yeah.
It's funny about the whole playbook thing. I'm literally sitting in my garage, okay, where I have a table and I have a couple TVs and stuff. And there's a knock on the garage door, and I push the button, the garage door goes up, and it's Luis Perez. "Hey, Josh said I could come by and grab some playbooks." And I was like, "All right." And then it's like, hand him these playbooks, and dude, they're the size of phone books. I mean, they're so goddamn thick. Dude, it was crazy. I mean, think about that situation where you give the guy the playbooks, he goes back to his coach and goes, "This is better than anything you have," and he wins the Heisman Trophy for a smaller school. It was nuts. And then Sean McVay's like, "Hey, why don't you come try it with the Rams?" It's so bizarre as he says that here's a guy that was a bowler. I mean, Joshua was the one that was first team quarterback, and then here's this guy who's bowling that all of a sudden is playing in the NFL. It's freaking nuts.
It's literally water boy.
Yeah.
He took the masterful playbook and he became a Heisman guy. It's literally the storyline. That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
It's
crazy stuff, man. Unbelievable. Okay, look, so here's one thing that I thought was interesting, and we're going to get into Saturday's game and all that. Okay, we got a bunch of Harbaugh news for you, but Mario, I looked through this because if there's one gambler on the show, it's Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Josh and I usually don't throw money on games, but Vegas ranked all 32 teams, and the reason I found this fascinating, Mario, is that Vegas ranking the teams is, how it works. Vegas doesn't care about winners and losers. They don't care about the Cowboys. They don't care about the Chargers. They don't care about the Steelers. What Vegas cares about is money. And Vegas sets things up to the way they think is the situation to basically win. And so what Vegas did was they ranked numbers 1 through 32. So I'm going to ask you guys first, take a guess. Where will you put the Chargers ranking 1 through 32?
Super Bowl chances.
No. As far as
how do they rank these?
Strength. The best team to the worst team. Well, who's the best team? Who's the worst team?
I'd say the Chargers. Nobody gives Chargers the love they deserve. I said they have them as like the 13th best team.
Mario, what do you got?
15.
They're 17. Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Now, do you really think that's ridiculous? Remember, they picked 5 overall last year.
If you have one of the best quarterbacks in the world with one of the best coaches in the world and a new offensive line, why would you be the 17th best team?
I'll be honest with you, I think 17's high. I think 17's high for a team that picked 5th overall.
Really?
I'm
Because
expecting
they're
to be around
projected 9.5.
27-28.
Hold on. They're projected 9.5 wins. So how could you be 17?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Vegas knows more than I know. I'm saying if you
I don't
ask
think they
me to
do.
make the list off the top of my head, that's what I would have had just off of last year's draft. There hasn't been a game played. We didn't pick up a Malik Neighbors. We didn't pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. We picked up an offensive lineman. Is that offensive lineman supposed to equal that many more wins? 4.5 wins? That's a lot.
I don't know. Justin Herbert spent half the season on his back last year because Trey Pickens couldn't block anybody. So I would like to think Joe Alt's going to make a significant difference. I don't know. Do I also think Malik Neighbors looks like God on Twitter every time I see him? Yeah, I do think that. Okay. And you know how I felt about the Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr. situation. But we have Joe Alt, and I'm not mad about it. I think Joe Alt is going to make a significant difference.
So is this based off odds that you got this?
Odds.
Or this
Yes,
is just
it's odds.
Oh,
It's odds. And it's
So why don't you-
and it's
wait,
not
why
it's
don't you
not
put
just
the
one.
odds?
It's 5. You want to? I don't. The odds are. I'll give it to you right now.
I
The
I
odds
got
of the
the
Chargers
odds.
winning the Super Bowl are plus 4,000. Some are
Yeah.
plus 4,500. So I have 6 different books here.
Okay.
Okay. So fourth plus 4,000.
And make sure, guys, if you're gonna bet, you bet with BetMGM, baby, the king sports books. But besides the point, it is interesting, right? Like, I do agree to the point where, look, they're the team that picked 4th overall, and yes, they have a
5th
franchise quarterback, 5th overall. And they have a franchise quarterback. I get that too. But like you said, the teams ahead of them, if you look at roster, like they just simply have a more talented roster. Like the Browns have a lot more talented roster than the Chargers do. The Bears have a more talented roster. Falcons do too. Rams do too. Dolphins, very much so. Jets do too. Cowboys do too. Like every team that's ahead of them, if you went by roster, you would say, yeah, like that team has a more talented roster than the Chargers do. Now, what doesn't go into that, obviously, I think is schedule, right? Like a lot of division, like stuff like that, where like things can go your way. That can benefits the Chargers. But when you go pure roster talent, like this stuff makes sense. And like when you deal with odds and stuff like that, for people that are just like new to gambling or like don't really understand it, sometimes a lot goes into it is just like public money. It's like what is publicly bet, what people really think a team will do really well. That's why the Bears, Jets, anytime there's a little hype and betting, there's that much hype because volume's going to come in on them because people are going to finally believe, oh, this is the year. There's going to be some nut job in River North, Chicago that thinks Caleb Williams is Jesus Christ himself and then goes to church and prays that Caleb Williams is no longer Jesus. Like, that's just what's going to freaking happen. So that just expect that too when you see kind of these highly numbers and stuff like that.
All right. So people who are curious to know, the Niners and Chiefs are 1-2. Ravens 3, Lions are 4, Eagles 5, Texans 6, Bengals 7, Bills 8, Jets 9, Packers are 10, and just leading up to the Chargers, I'll give you those. Cowboys 11, Dolphins 12, Falcons 13. There's nobody in that division. Rams are 14, Bears 15, Browns 16. Those are the teams that are in front of the Chargers. Now, when you hear those, the thing is there's only one team in your division that's ranked above you, right? The Raiders and Broncos are back. So in case people are curious, the Broncos are number 31. Panthers are last. Raiders are number 26. Okay, so now that I gave you all that stuff, and because we have other things to get to in the show, I'm going to give you the teams they have basically making the playoffs. You ready, Mario?
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. We're going to go NFC first. And the NFC, they have out of the East, they have the Eagles and Cowboys making the playoffs. NFC North, Lions and Packers making the playoffs. NFC South, just the Falcons, and the NFC West, they have the 49ers and Rams making the playoffs. Okay. In the AFC, in the East, they have the Bills, Jets, Dolphins in that order making the playoffs. Patriots, only team not making it. AFC North, Ravens and Bengals. Brown Steelers do not make it. AFC South, only one team, the Texans. AFC West, one team, the Chiefs.
Yeah, so the way I look at it is the Chargers are in the 3rd best division in the AFC. AFC East is stacked. AFC North, stacked. AFC South, weak. And then AFC West, for the most part, pretty weak, I'd say. I think the Raiders aren't a good team. I think the Broncos aren't a good team. I think the Chargers are a pretty good team, or they will show they're a pretty good team. The Chiefs are probably the best team in the NFL. So if you have 6 games within your division, 4 of them are against teams that aren't very good, and you're playing lower-level quarterbacks throughout the season, how are the Chargers not, in the conversation for like 10 wins? They're playing against teams that don't have great quarterbacks. The most important thing in the NFL,
right?
What?
they have 4 gimme wins, right? You
They have
should sweep
4
the
I
Raiders.
mean,
You should sweep the Broncos.
say
Second
that every
easiest
year.
schedule, according to Sharp Analytics.
Dude, easy schedule. We always say the Chargers should sweep the Broncos and Raiders. It just never happens. This year, I really do think they could do it. I mean, they should. The most important thing to have on a team is a franchise quarterback. Second most important thing to have on a team, I believe, is the head coach. If you're going to go head coach, quarterback duos, Harbaugh and Herbert have to be towards the very top. So if you have the 2 most important things on a team, how are you the 17th best team? I understand the talent gap is there for the Chargers at certain positions, but if you hear that the defensive backfield, which has been the biggest question mark, has stepped up all throughout training camp and they can shine this year or at least be average, I have every reason to believe the Chargers should be higher than 17. And the Bills being number 8 is an absolute joke. If you look at that team has nothing. Keon Coleman is their number 1 receiver. Gabe Davis is gone. Stephon Diggs is gone. They've never had a good running game. Josh Allen is a couple hits away from getting hurt. The guy runs all over the place. I don't think that team's very good. I think there's a couple of teams that are going to drop off, and the Chargers are going to step up within the AFC.
So that's what I was really gonna say is the Bills hype. I'm just really not getting this year at all. God, Team USA is just really blowing.
We're gonna
it.
lose. God dang it.
Yeah, we are gonna lose. Hate to say it, guys, but as an MJ guy, MJ gets a point there. All right,
Well, as a
but that's
Kobe
besides
guy,
the point.
how's that?
What?
As a Kobe guy, what did Kobe say? I
That's-
showed up because I'm sick and tired of watching you guys win the bronze.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. LeBron's just probably like, well, if we had Bronny on the team, we'd be okay. All right. That's besides the point, guys. The Buffalo, no, like I really don't think the Buffalo Bills make the playoffs this year. Like I already bet them to miss the playoffs. I think that 3 teams from that division making it is very overzealous. Like I could see the Dolphins. Like what do we see the Dolphins do every year, right? They beat the lower teams and they can't beat the better teams. They do that every single time. They can't play in the cold. Who's to say that they miss out on the playoffs too? Like I kind of see that in the future for them too. The Colts finally are fully healthy with AR. Let's say AR plays even half the season. Shane Steichen can get that team to the playoffs. Maybe they still wild card spot. That's just something I just don't really understand. The schedule is made for the Chargers to get into the playoffs. And I think they can, and I think they will. It's just like I said, second easiest to Sharp Analytics. It's just way too easy. I highly doubt that the AFC West does not send 2 teams in. They're going to. The division that I think is going to send, 2 as well with that, I think it's the AFC North. I think the Ravens lost a lot. They lost a lot of their coaching staff. They lost arguably the best defensive mind in football to Seattle. You tell me that defense isn't going to take a dip? Then half that freaking staff came over here with us because Jim's like, I'm going to take all your guys. Sorry, brother. Like, they're going to take a little bit of a step back. Lamar was pretty healthy last year. You think that's going to happen again? I highly doubt it, brother. Mark Andrews is going to get hurt again for like the 1,000th time. We complain about Joey Bosa. Mark Andrews is going to have the same thing. I think that team's going to take a step back. Browns, I think, will take a step forward. And I think they eventually take that division. But that's a story for a different day.
All right. Well, again, it's interesting the way it plays out. I'm with you guys. I'm not giving up on the Chargers making the postseason. You guys point out there's 4 wins right there on the table that should be a pitch to you underhand. Should be a deal where the Chargers should be able to take advantage of what's going on. If you can steal one with the Chiefs, fantastic. Great news right there. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Are you a futures bet guy by the way, Mario?
So I am the king of I'll place it in the middle of the year. I'll cash out. Like when the Rams won the Super Bowl, I hammered them to win it. And remember when they went on that little bit of a losing skid? I think they lost like 3 games or whatever.
Yeah,
I cashed out, and that would have won. I did that with the Nuggets too. I did that. Trying to think of the other teams I did that with. I did that with UConn 2 years ago. So every time I bet it, I will probably cash out because I'm too impatient and I'm too much of a freaking nut job.
I'm just curious how it went, how it goes. All right, so other things that are going on with the Chargers. Obviously, the Chargers have a new head coach. His name's Jim Harbaugh. He left college football. He wins a national championship. He comes to the Chargers. We're all excited to have him. And things went down this week that basically, if you're a Charger fan, you're like, dude, at least there's an option off the table. Jim Harbaugh, basically the NCAA came down and said, hey, there's going to be a 4-year suspension on him. Now, here's the deal. He has a 5-year contract with the Chargers, right? So if things were going well with the Chargers anyway, you're like, well, that wasn't a concern that he wasn't going to leave in that situation. But at the same time, Jim has accomplished everything he needed to in college. He has that national championship. He did it for his alma mater. There's no reason to go back to college. This is the level he needs to be at with NIL and everything else. There's so many reasons why you wouldn't coach college football. But for you as a fan now, I mean, we're all Jim Harbaugh fans today. Does it upset you at all that he left a program a little bit dirty or was doing dirty things at a program? Does it affect you at all as far as your fandom?
Of Jim Harbaugh?
Yep.
No, great news for Charger fans. He's probably not going to go back to college. I mean, not that I thought he was going to go back to college because he already accomplished the ultimate goal, but the fact that he's going to have a year suspension, that's great news for us Charger fans. That's off the table. Does it bother me that he's a cheater and a liar and all these things that people are saying? I don't really care. I'm more concerned about him doing all those things for the Chargers and getting away with it. Like if you can win in any way, like I'm cool with that. If you don't get caught. I mean, look at Bill Belichick. He's a certified cheater and liar, and he's the greatest coach of all time. So if he can do that for the Chargers, I'm all for it, Mario.
I'm all for it too. Like everyone finds ways to cheat. Like how many times a year do we see a head coach find a little dink in the armor in the rules, and then that rules change next year? Like that's the Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel special. Like they all do that. Also, I feel like the NCAA is really like, man, and this could be a homer take, but I feel like they're really like targeting Harbaugh. Like this whole COVID rule thing that they came down on him for. Nice, dude. You really don't think that Jimbo Fisher wasn't talking to people during COVID? You really don't think Lane Kiffin was? You really don't think so? Like, shut your mouth if you don't think every head coach in college football wasn't talking to any type of player or recruit during that time. They all were. Shut up if you think anything different. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to your country, or you're disappointing your country like Team USA is right now, even though they're down 5. It generally pisses me off. Like it made me so angry when he got suspended. He's not going back to the NCAA anyway. It's like you said, he won a title for his alma mater. Like he did the goal he wanted to accomplish. Now the goal is the NFL, and he's very open about that. It doesn't matter, but to me, this is all just so stupid, and it's just the NCAA trying to target him. I feel like to get one up on him, and it's dumb. And if you're Michigan, I don't think I'd even be that frustrated because you got a title out of it. There'll probably be more allegations coming because it has nothing to do with the sign stealing stuff. But again, who the hell cares? Nice NCAA. You're going to get one up on them. Nice, dude. You guys have such a great history of really coming down on rules and hard on guys and having screwed over college athletes for over 40 freaking years. You guys are doing a great job over there in numbnuts, Indianapolis. I can't stand the NCAA. I'm like not a fan of them, if you couldn't tell.
Well, they're almost irrelevant now with the NIL. All right. So
yeah, they're not. And good, by the way. Like, I hope they all like really suffer from that. Not trying to be like a douche about it, but like, I just can't stand them. Like, I can't stand the NCAA. Sorry.
All right. So I look at it a couple different ways. All right. And then I'll come back around and I'll show you I'm a hypocrite like everybody else. Okay. One is B. Hannon wrote here. He goes, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. We've heard that phrase a million times. I'll be honest with you, it's one of my least favorite things. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm always been a rule follower. I'm one of those guys. I'm a guy that's coached for a number of years. I'm the guy that people hated. I got it. But you know what? As people pointed out that understood, that have watched me coach and then coached with me, they go, you're the easiest guy to coach against. You know why? Because you want to win and you always play by the rules. And I do, man. That's just the way it goes. Cheating to win doesn't feel the same as winning. To know that you cheated to take advantage of something just doesn't feel the same. It's not the same joy I get or watching kids knowing that we basically did something the other team didn't do. So yeah, it bothers me when people cheat. And if they get caught, look, there are people out there that will drink at a bar tonight and drive home because they think they can make it. Look, you might not have gotten a DUI, but you know what? You took a gamble and someone got caught and you didn't, doesn't mean you weren't in the wrong. You were in the wrong. So when Jim Harbaugh gets caught, he's in the wrong. And whether Jimbo Fisher doesn't get caught or Lane Kiffin or one of those other guys, yeah, it's one of those things you go, hey, are we playing by the same rules? Now, that being said, I'm not a Bill Belichick fan for a lot of things that I believe he cheated on. You know, that, wait a second. Now, did he coach within the rules all the time? No. Did he have guys that were on the payroll that were filming practices or the Jets before the games and getting hand signals? I mean, some of the stuff with Michigan was a little ridiculous. Guys standing right next to the coach on the sideline wearing their gear is ridiculous. But as a hypocrite that I'll be right now, because I want the Chargers to win more than anything, I'm so happy he's on the Chargers sideline. And the fact that he says, you know, I was taught, You don't lie, you don't steal, you don't cheat. Let's go tackle life with incredible enthusiasm. I'm all in because he's one of ours. He lives in our house. And now we sit and we embrace it, and we hope that he does whatever he can to help the Chargers finally win, because we have an empty trophy case. We have a lady on payroll that has to go by with a dust rag 3 times a week to dust that empty trophy case out. I would like to see her dust a trophy once, just one time. But you know what? She's been on payroll since basically 1965, and she hasn't done anything. And so if Jim Harbaugh can start filling up that trophy case, being the hypocrite that I am, like everyone else is, I want to see him win for the Chargers, and all's forgotten. That's where I'm at.
I'm not all for cheating. I'm all for competitive advantages, though. And I think Jim Harbaugh is a complete competitive advantage guy, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically. He's always going to put the toughest team on the field. It just seemed like as Charger fans the last 10 years, the other team has had 12 players and we've had 11 because their coach is always out coaching our guys. We're always playing from behind. It seems like because we never have a coach that's smart as the other coach, or he's just doing dumb things like doesn't know how to manage the clock. Like, God bless Anthony Lynn, but guy could not manage the clock. Same with Brandon Staley. I mean, finally we have a coach that's going to be able to, have a competitive advantage. We just have not had that. Have you guys felt that way? Like, Chargers have never had a cool head coach, like since Marty Schottenheimer. There's no guy that we've had, like, we're proud to call that guy our head coach. Like, I'm proud to call Mike McCoy my head coach. Like, I've never once said those words till right now. Like, I've never been proud of our head coach until now. And it's a good feeling. I'm not for cheating. I'm not for doing anything illegal, but I'm all for competitive advantages, and Jim Harbaugh is known for that. So if he can give us a competitive advantage, I'm all for it.
He's our first established guy. Like, this established guy, established voice in the NFL that a lot of people have respect for, and you know that you should follow the recipe because it's good in the end. It's not like, hey, maybe we shouldn't listen to what this guy's saying. Like, no, this guy has a proven track record. Like, we need to lock in on everything he's doing because it works. And someone commented, and again, I agree with it too. The allegation that he's cheating, like, he didn't cheat. Like this first one with the code, like he did cheat.
He got caught. What are you talking about?
All
He
right.
didn't cheat.
I mean, the
NCAA
sign stealing,
said he cheated. That's the judge.
Alleged.
He cheated.
It's alleged.
Alleged nothing. There's
still investigating.
a penalty of 4 years.
They thought, really? They said UNC was investigating, did a 2-year investigation, and Roy Williams gave him the bird, and they said, yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, well, then he was found not guilty.
I know,
Jim Harbaugh literally was found guilty because he's the head coach.
No, I mean,
Nothing
on the
happens
COVID,
without
on
the
the
head
sign,
coach knowing.
on the COVID he is, but I'm saying on the sign stealing, they're still investigating it. So you can't say he actually did steal yet or did cheat
Okay,
yet.
a guy that was on his payroll was standing next to the head coach of another school wearing their gear, looking right at his standing right there, 5 feet
And
from
the glove didn't fit, Dave.
Oh my God. Okay, if you want to go that route. Fine.
Yeah. No, look, I'm stressed out, man. I live bet Team USA just now, and it's not looking good. I'm sweating.
We're gonna win.
Blue.
We're gonna
I
win.
hope you win.
We're
Jokic
gonna
just
win.
missed a lot of buckets, so that's good.
Yeah, we have the momentum right now.
Yeah, that's
we're
good.
gonna. I don't know how many. If you're a USA basketball fan, say it in the chat right now because I think we're all locked into this. We love the Chargers,
but we must stroke out
right
on the show.
Damn sure love our country.
I don't want you to have a stroke, but all I'm saying is that would do some good numbers
for one day. For one day.
But yeah, come back.
And then people just tune in to watch me try and drink a glass of water. They
Yeah.
have nothing to add to the show.
Dude, Embiid, clutch.
Yes, let's go Embiid.
And I've been the biggest Embiid. I'm sorry, guys. We're all watching this. I've been the biggest Embiid hater ever. But he's coming through. I don't like Booker really in right now. But Anthony Edwards does not look good today.
I don't like that Booker in either. I'd probably put a defender in. Like, I'd probably put Holiday in there. Also, Derek White was shooting a lot of threes earlier, and he should probably calm down with that, but he's already on
defensive
the bench.
guy.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, stop. Just like Drew Holiday. Just play defense.
Yeah, just play defense. But Embiid's playing really well. Good block right there.
Yeah.
All right, let's
All right.
finish up the
gentlemen.
show here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Stay focused.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Doing a lot.
Saturday, we have Seattle. We have the Chargers going at it. Obviously, first preseason games. People usually don't get excited about preseason games. Here's the deal. It's the first time Harbaugh is going to be in SoFi Stadium on the Chargers sideline. People are extremely excited. One of my close friends, Chargers season ticket holder for 20 years. I said, are you going to the game? He goes, I'm not going to the game. I have a family function I have to go to, but I sold my tickets. And I said, you sold preseason tickets? He said, I absolutely sold my preseason tickets like that. Really fast. He said, got good money for him. And I said to Josh, I can't believe he sold his tickets. And he goes, dude, everybody wants to see Harbaugh and want to say I was there. For the very first game, whether it's preseason or not, the excitement factor of having Harbaugh on the sideline for the Chargers is a big deal. And they're in. So I know the three of us are going to watch this game no matter what. But at the same time, Mario, would you have bought tickets for a preseason game knowing it was Jim Harbaugh's first game?
Okay, so I'm happy you brought this up because absolutely I would. Because I remember buying a ticket when Andrew Luck got his first start in Indy. Like I remember, like everyone was like, "We have to buy a ticket." It was like it was a preseason game, and he scored on the first play. And they're like, "We have to buy it." I remember we took a trip to Chicago for I believe it was Trubisky's first start in Soldier Field. So, like literally,
it's not the same cool story.
Not the same cool story because it ended up sucking. But I'm a North Carolina guy, so you got to. So like, but like my example of that is like, even though it's preseason and yes, it doesn't matter. I think still just the excitement and saying like, yes, like I've been there in this new era we are entering into, is pretty cool, and that's pretty awesome to see. And I'm fully for it. I'm excited. Like I canceled the date. Shout out Katie. Canceled a date that night for Saturday night because I was like, we got Chargers for Seahawks. So I'm sorry, baby. No hot and sexy time for you if we were gonna get there. Yeah, so that's how I feel, Josh.
What do you look for in the preseason? Like for this game against the Seahawks, there's something specifically you're going to look for, a player, anything really that you look for in a preseason game?
So I always look at the below guys like I drafted later that I really like. So like this game, I'm gonna be looking for Brendan Rice a lot. I'm gonna see how like he's I'm interested to see how he's looking. I'm also interested in this QB battle we're about to see, right? I'm interested to see how Easton Stick and Max Duggan play as well. I'm looking at Cam Hart. How is he gonna look in his matchup against the Seahawks? And the really interesting thing too, I mean, again, I know it's a preseason season, so they're not going to see all the stops that they're going to bring out. But this is a Mike McDonald team. Like this is not going to be an easy defense to go against by any like stretch of the means. Even though it's the backups, like it's still going to be pretty hard. So it's going to be a pretty good test for all these guys, for Duggan and for Stick, and like I mentioned, Brendan Rice, and see how they look and see how they play in this game. So those three guys and Cam Hart is going to be who I'm kind of eyeing, Dave, to see how they play.
I know the offense is going to be really bland, right? You're going to see basically basic stuff. At the same time, I kind of want to see even the basic stuff, what it looks like. Like, what does it set up? Like, what are we looking at football from 1982? Are we looking at something a little bit different? I know you aren't going to show anything you're going to use in week one, but at the same time, I'm curious. God dang, can we rebound?
I know, dude. I just saw that, Dave. I wanted to punch a wall.
Can't take it.
God, we got bailed out.
And then at the same time,
Curry three.
I want to see QJ. I want to see what he does. Can QJ do anything? Can QJ do anything for us is a big deal for me. Yes. All right.
Big hit. Big hit. Let's freaking go, guys.
USA. USA.
We got momentum.
Can we get Team USA in the chat? I feel like I'm a soldier.
No.
Oh.
Yes. Let's freaking.
Hit it.
Oh, you guys want to see something sick.
Come on. Fast break.
Come on. You get it, LeBron?
The king.
Dude, the king. King America. There's no kings because we're USA, baby. And we said we don't want kings, we want presidents. That's why that's why we're number one. That's why we're number one. Come on, Curry. Come on. That's why you live bet, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you do it on your country, because we're number one. Come on. Go Chargers, too. I'm sweating like, you know what, in a church.
This is
Dude,
awesome.
I love the people write the Let's Go USA here. LeBron I love that people are watching this with us. This is funny as hell. All right, I tell you what, we're gonna keep on the broadcast. As I said, there's a minute 41 left. There's a timeout, but we're gonna stay right here until this thing's over. I just gotta see the way Mario reacts to this thing. Man, unbelievable. It sounds dumb as can be, guys. I understand people like, well, this is what we're supposed to do for basketball. I'm a huge USA basketball fan, way before the time of these guys. Just a quick history lesson for you guys. 1980, we didn't go to the Olympics, the Summer Olympics. USA didn't go because of a problem with Russia. 1984, we went to the Olympics in LA with Michael Jordan and Patrick Ewing and Chris Mullin and Wayman Tisdale, all these guys. Even Leon Wood, who's now a referee in the NBA. Funny as hell. Okay, Leon Wood was on our USA team. But, man, we dominated with Mario's guy, Bob Knight, as the head coach.
Hell
Sam
yeah.
Perkins on that team, Mario, North Carolina guy. Love that team. I was all in on USA basketball. Always have been a huge USA basketball fan. And where it is now from 92 to here, it is important for me as a sports fan and a citizen of this country. We win this game.
Hell yeah.
It's ridiculous that one guy. Say that again.
Wasn't Jordan on that team too? Or
Yeah,
no?
I said Jordan. He's
Yeah,
the first
oh,
guy I
I'm sorry,
said.
I'm sorry.
You just weren't listening to me because you were too invested. I got you. It's all right. It's all right. Did you used to do that in social studies?
Yeah.
Hey, wasn't there World War II?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I said that, Mario.
I think you're forgetting about. Yeah, you're forgetting about George Washington. All right, not bad.
wasn't he in there somewhere? Yeah, Mario was the first guy I mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, that's funny.
Turnover.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Durant, man, pressuring the ball. All right, so go back to the original question of what you're looking for in the Seahawks game.
QJ, man, I'm looking for. I want to see QJ. Is Ladd McConkey playing? Because I want to see Ladd McConkey.
He better play. He's a rookie. He's still a rookie, even though he's wide receiver 1 or 2. He's still a rookie. The Chargers released their first unofficial depth chart, and Quentin Johnston was listed as wide receiver 3. So that's good. I mean, it's good news for us.
He'll play.
Good.
Also on there is no Ladd McConkey, so he's technically. I mean, they have Ladd McConkey as a backup, but let's stop playing with ourselves here. Okay. He's wide receiver 1 or 2. So Quentin Johnston's actually the number 4 receiver. It has DJ Chark as the number 2. We know that's not true. So I'm looking for Quentin Johnston. I'm looking at Hayden Hurst as well because I was a huge fan of Joe Everett. I want to see if Hayden Hurst can fill that void by being a good. They say he's more of the catching tight end than obviously Will Disley's the blocking tight end. Also, Joe Alt. How much playing time do you give him, if any, Mario? Are you going to give him a few series?
Like maybe 1 or 2.
I'm saying 2 also. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm with you.
Maybe. But yeah, because of who he goes up against every day, I'd be fine if he doesn't play. You know what I mean? Like he goes against some of the best in the NFL. You know, it's like who are you going to face on the Seahawks?
I always like to see the rookies out on the field, unless you're a quarterback like Caleb Williams is with the Bears. I understand why you wouldn't, but even that, so I would go for the couple downs. See what it's like. Yeah. Most NFL stadiums are smaller than college stadiums if you played at a big time school, but everything's a little bit different, right? The pace of the game's a little bit different. TV timeouts are much different, but just to slow it down, the more reps you get out there and what it feels like in that uniform in front of your fan base, I'm all for it. Sorry, I would give Joe Alt time. That's the way I would go.
2 series.
Yeah, 2 series. I hate Bogdanovich so freaking much. Not even just because he's playing against Team USA right now, but like in the NBA, he always like dominates the Bulls, and I can't stand him. And what's that, dude? And what's that? All right, nice, dude. Have fun with JJ Redick, who's just coming off coaching 7th graders.
I have nothing to say. I have no pushback.
I like Mario's pick on Cam Hart too. You've heard a lot of reports about Cam Hart looking pretty good. I want to see our guy Tony Jefferson out there. There's a lot of guys I'm excited for. I love the first preseason game, seeing guys in the Chargers uniform for the first time.
What do you guys think about shortening the preseason?
Love it.
You want to go shorter than 3 games, or you want no preseason?
I think 2 is perfect.
I don't really care because if there's dude, Durant's the most clutch player on the team, 100%. I'm all for the 3 preseason games just because they need to get a look for these guys that are on the bubble. And like, you don't want to play your starters anyway. I think it's been a thing of the last 5 years that the guys that are actually going to play aren't going to play in the preseason. I'm all for it. I don't really care. I don't want to see any of my starters get hurt. I'll lose my mind if any of the Chargers' significant players get hurt.
To get back to Steph. Just hold it, Steph. Just go.
4 corners.
4 corners, Dean Smith.
Yes.
Oh, nice. All right, here we go. No, it didn't count.
Doesn't count.
Free throws.
Weird question.
Free throws are ball out. Sorry, I know we're supposed to be doing play.
No,
best free throw shooter in the world.
It's a good question because FIBA rules are weird, right? So I don't know. And okay, side thing too. Graphics
the politics in the chat. Come on.
Yeah, don't do that.
Politics in the chat.
No,
yeah, we
no politics.
Yeah,
in the chat.
No politics in the chat. It's just USA's number 1.
Yeah.
Dude, can we get for the graphics department on these Olympic games? How about we get teams in the bonus? Let's get that going. You know what I'm saying? Like timeouts at the top. Like let's upgrade the graphics package from 2002. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, a little lazy.
Let's start upgrading some stuff and get Dwayne Wade off. I'm so happy I'm watching this without Dwayne Wade.
I don't mind Dwayne Wade.
Speaking. You don't mind? Oh, really?
He's a Chicago.
I like him a lot more than Reggie Miller, dude. Reggie Miller's the worst. Reggie Miller's the worst.
Oh
Come
my
on, knock
God.
the free throw down.
All right,
All right,
sorry. Here we go.
Come on.
All right, we're down 8.2 seconds for anyone that's wondering what's going on.
You think they go
USA
for
is a
three here?
4-point lead.
Yeah, we got to start chat, by the way. We got to start chat.
Oh, sorry. Shoot. Got to get to it.
Shout out Eric, bro. Thank you so much for the donation. Please discuss our team name. I don't think we get enough. That's the craziest way to spell enough. Enough credit for now cool, unique our team name is from the rest of the teams. How did we get Chargers? Dave, that's a good question for you. How did we get the Charger name? I actually don't
How
know.
do we
that
get
name.
the Charger name?
Yeah. Did we just win? We did just win.
Yeah, we just won. Yeah.
God, we're number one.
Mara, just curious. Mara, you at work or in your building?
I'm at work.
Oh, good. I love that. Think you're nuts. That's awesome. All right. Sorry, everybody. I know that turned into a train wreck of a show. We'll answer that question on the next one. I'm sorry. I promise. Epic Bro. By the way, I laughed at Mario. Talked about enough, but we will answer that question. I promise. I'm going to write it in the notes right now. It's going to be the first thing we say on how the Chargers got that name when we start the next show. All right. Do you guys have anything to add? This has turned into the biggest mess of a show of all time. I thought we were off to a really good start, and then it turned into USA basketball.
People want us to do live Chargers games next year. We cuss a lot. That's the issue.
A lot. Dude, Harbaugh's not to cuss right now or cry. Like, I literally was like, Josh said he had faith in this team. I thought for sure we were losing.
I believe in my country.
Yeah. You should too.
Yeah, try it out for once.
I was already looking for a new T-shirt to rep.
Real quick, Elena Moore. This is a good question. Happy birthday, by the way. We're a little delayed, 7 days out, but happy birthday, Elena. Thank you for the donation. When's your guys' birthday?
My birthday is September 22nd, 1993. I'll be 31 next month.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's funny. We're all at the end of the year. I'm November 13th.
November 13th.
How old will you be?
You want me to tell?
So much we have people guess how old.
Yeah,
Dave
we
is?
should have people guess.
Yeah, you know what? We should have people guess. You just gave your age, so people probably figure it out.
I think I just said I'm the same age as Luis Perez.
Yeah. Sounds crazy. We got the rookie quarterback. Yeah. So Mamar, yours is December what? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and guess in the chat. How old I am. It's fine.
I'm December 3rd, and I'm about to.
Wait. Don't say your. Wait, what did you say? Don't say how old you are. Did you say how old you are?
No, I did not.
Okay. Since Josh gave his out, guess in the chat how old Mario and I are.
That would be B-handed is 27 me or Dave? Because if it's Dave, that'd be physically impossible. 55. Oh, Elena got it right for me. It's 26. Good call.
Who said 55?
Demetrius.
No, I'm not 55. I'm not that old yet. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
52.
Demetrius is 55. Don't diss Demetrius.
52.
No.
46.
No.
Wow, that's a 46. That's a nice compliment.
Yeah, that's a huge compliment. Yeah. Are you
63?
on?
AK called you 63.
63. Wow. AK. I thought we were boys, but that's okay.
48, Dave.
At SoFi in the parking lot. Meet me in the parking lot.
52.
Nobody's got it yet.
Yeah.
Nobody's got it yet.
51.
Nope. Not 51.
40. No, not 46. 50. Miguel says 50.
Right there. You got it. I'm 53.
53.
Right now I'm 53. I'll be 54.
Yeah, but you're going to be 54 in November.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's right.
There you go.
Or who said that? Who said 53? Who said 53?
Have you thought about getting on TRT?
What's TRT?
Testosterone booster.
No, I don't need it. No. What do I need testosterone booster for?
I don't know. I was talking about that with you yesterday.
I'm good.
As soon as I hit 50, I think I'm going full T.
Oh my gosh.
Not a bad idea.
Dude, you want to if you need it, I don't know what to tell you. All right. Josh, since the show's been a train wreck, should I tell my embarrassing story from yesterday?
Oh my God.
Too bad?
I think go for it. I think this has been train wreck.
People already think you have no soul anyway, so just go ahead. Go say it.
All right, Mark. So I get at least once a week where I get back to me of what did you do? Someone, like people will witness something and go, what? Yesterday was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. All right, I'm going to share it with you right here. Josh was there. He witnessed the whole damn thing. So we were doing a speaking engagement yesterday. Josh was there, my wife was there, and we're at San Diego State, and there are three attorneys that are putting this on. And before we go on the stage to speak, there's a guy who's an attorney who's he's in a wheelchair, but he gets around with his hand. He doesn't push it around this way, as the remote on his hand. Okay. And last year when I met him, an extremely nice guy, I went to shake his hand, Mario, and he couldn't shake my hand. I felt like such an idiot.
Yeah.
Like it bothered me for a year that I went to shake his hand, and he just looked at me like, dude, what are you doing? Everyone else looked at me like, what are you doing? Can't you see? And I was like, oh my God. I felt like Ryan Seacrest when he went to high five that blind girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe I just did that. And so very nice guy. He's right to my left. And the guy to my right makes a comment about my arm. People, if you followed the show, on my birthday last year, I was bowling with Josh, and I popped a tendon from my shoulder all the way down to my elbow, and I ruptured my bicep. My right arm hasn't been the same. So one of the other attorneys asked, how's your right arm? And I started complaining about how miserable I've been, that I can't do what I used to do, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's playing, throwing baseballs, playing basketball, all that stuff. I can't do it. I'm just whining about my arm. And then I just look over to my left, and that dude's looking at me like, are you effing serious? And I just went, oh my God, like I did it worse than I did the year before. I have a bowling injury. Like, how often do I need to bowl? I'm not Luis Perez. I'm not Mookie Betts. I bowl once every 4 years, and I'm complaining I can't bowl. My career's over. And this guy over here just staring at me, and dude, I never felt smaller. And we go through, we do our presentation. I get in the car, and as soon as we get in the car, Josh and my wife go, what the F? What were you doing? And I went, oh my God, I know. So embarrassing, dude.
Can we invite this guy on the show, and we just go, give us your honest opinion of Dave?
Oh, biggest a-hole on the planet. Dude, there's nothing I could do that come off good or explain myself. Just a jerk. Just a big jerk. Insensitive jerk.
God,
and I'm the oldest one on the show. I have the least common sense. Hey, let me ask you. I know I've done a lot of things, Josh. Is there any time on life that you're like, I wish I wasn't related to this guy? Then right there?
I don't know. When you attack people on Twitter, or people attack you on Twitter, very uncomfortable for me.
I
When I got people, my parents in the crowd.
I still think it's the best of the guy going, I'm going to throw an egg at every house in East Lake just to know that
that's at every house, and he's like, make sure I got yours. Yeah.
That's still the funniest comment I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Like I want that guy to win an Emmy.
Yeah. Unbelievable. All right. Hey, USA basketball won. It was a good day. Okay. Play the Ice Cube music on the way out, will you?
America.
All right, we're going to be back on Tuesday. All right, big game on Saturday, first preseason game. Hopefully we have news and notes, and at the same time we want you guys to be interactive in the chat. This is why we want the chat open. Okay, we want the chat open right here for you to tell us what you saw, what you liked, what you didn't like at the same time. So we're going to keep things going. Charger football, this is where it gets exciting for us. This is why we sit here and go throughout the year, because we wait for moments like this where the games start. So we'll see you on Tuesday. Can't wait to talk about the Chargers-Seattle game. For Mauro Heron, Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. As our good friend Mark Grant says, keep in touch with yourself.
Yep, it's 1776, born to be number one.